Hello and welcome to Create Studio 3 Part 9. The version we're on is 3.4.1 and I'm Tony of Tony's Tutorials. First of all, we're going to go on to a new project and we want to have a look at the shapes and see what we can do with those. The shapes are in the studio, as you can see that's white, the others are all greyed out. Right, so we go to the shapes and we're going to first of all get a square. We just left click it and drag it on, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that to cover the background completely like that, and I'm going to change the colour to white. I've got a reason for doing this, but it isn't important at the moment. All I need to do is just lock that into place so we can't move it. Right, that's locked there. Right, now I'm doing that as a background for the triangle, so I'm going to put the triangle on, and what you've got is you've got your little circles on the edges which are helping to make it bigger and smaller, so to resize it, so then when you're sizing handles, and you've got these for the length, the width, and these for the length up here, and the bottom one. Right, that's the width as well there. Right, so you can do that. Right, as well as that, on the corner ones you've got this little angle that suddenly appears sometimes. That is to rotate your circle or your triangle or whatever shape you've got. You can rotate it around the anchor point which is in the middle. Right, and you can use any of those particular corners that are available. Right, as you can see, it's even on there. You can do it from there. As long as you've got that particular shape on, you can do it. Right, unless of course you change the anchor point, then you have to do it in a different way. Obviously it'll go in a different way, which I'll show you about anchor points in a bit. But first of all, what we're going to do is show you what happens when you mess with the stuff in the settings like that. You see what happened there? That one took it to the left. I'll take it in the middle, take it to the right. That one will take it to the top, middle, bottom, and this one will take it into the middle of the screen. Right, that's what them do. Right, now the colour obviously changes the colour. So as you can see, I've changed it to yellow there, and that's fill colour solid. Right, next one is gradient, and the third one is radial. If you want it on gradient, you can change you click on it there, and obviously the gradient will come up with yellow there and whatever colour was on this side, and you can change that by clicking on these and changing it to that colour. You can also add a circle in the middle somewhere and then change that to a different colour like that. Right, so you've done that. You can add more of them circles. If you want to take one off, say you've made a mistake, you just double click it and it comes back off. Right, as well as that, you can see you've got a little line across here which is like a broken line with two dots on it. Right, this is the colour which is on the left of that bar there, and this is the colour that's on the right of that bar. So you can bring them across like that, bring that across like that, and it intensifies them from those sides. You can also move them around like that, so you can do that. As well as that, if you've got more than 2 points on, so we'll just get another one on and put a blue in the middle, right, like that, it will change the amount of blue is on according to how much you stretch them in and out. You can stretch them as far as you like, up to, I don't know, wherever the limit is on the actual app, but it can change the look of your image according to what you want, you know. So it's a good way of messing about with it anyway. But with the radial, it's a different story. You have a look at the radial in a minute. As you can see, the inside colour is the one on the left, the middle colours middle of the radial, and the outside colours the one on the right. Right, so you can turn that around. You can push it in towards the middle there, of the actual shape or take it out, right? And it'll strengthen or weaken that from where it is. But you don't have to leave the shape middle there. You can always put it up or put it down or move it around wherever you want to, if you want to do that. Right, so that's a choice for you. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the colour back to fill, solid. That's what you can do with them, right? You can change the colours to several different colours. You can add darkness to them and that like that. You can also, if I take this to dark blue, you can also add opacity. So take off opacity so it's semi-transparent. To do this I'm going to add another shape which I'm going to put underneath the triangle if I can. Let's put it under there, and that's got to go up in it, and I'll put the triangle, that one up there. Sorry, I made a mistake then, but no mind, don't matter. And the triangle's there, put it there. Right, so as you can see the star through the triangle, right? You see? So you know the triangle is semi-transparent. Right. Let's go back to the colour, as you can see there. Or if you do that, so that's on the fill colour area, you can do transparency there, right? Also, you've got opacity here, which also does the same thing. Like that, see? Right, now if you've got transparency on there and you want to add a border, say you want a red border to it, right? I'm just going to click back on it, and now you need to add a border width. If you have a look, the border is semi-transparent as well, right? Yeah. So whenever you've got opacity on your fill, you've also got opacity on your border colour. So if you want transparency on it, you need to take up the opacity on the fill and you get all of it off. But if say your fill's got full opacity and you want the border colour have some transparency, you can take that off. It won't affect the fill, right? It only affects the border. So you can see there, you can see like that you've got transparency on the border but not on the fill, because you can't see the star going through there, right? Whereas with the opacity on that, on the actual fill, you could. So if you do that, you can see the difference there, right? I just thought that'd be important in case anybody wanted to do that sort of thing, right? So you got that, right? So there you go. Now you've got now transparency on them. Let's just take that border off. I don't like it really. Border off like that. Change that to back again. Okay, right. Now the other thing you can do with this is go to properties, and you can change the positions, the scale, the opacity there, rotate it according to where your anchor point is, so you can rotate it say 50 or 90 or whatever, say 90. So that's what happened to the triangle, it went 90 degrees from rotated from the center, which is there, right? If I take it back to normal and press enter, then it goes back, right? And you got 3D X rotation and Y rotation, and that does a different thing altogether. So if we do 45 on there, try that, you see it rotated upward, so the bottom went up and the back went down in that direction. And in Y direction you can do it 45 that way, and you'll see what happens there. So it's gone that way, sort of turn that way a little bit, 45 degrees. You just put them back to normal, so that makes it 3D-ish sort of thing. and you got a perspective there. So let's just take off the start. We can see the perspective on this in a minute when I get to it. Properties, perspective. Let's change perspective to, let's try that. See what happened there? The perspective changed on it. Now back to normal. That's the normal. So say 45. You see any change there? No, no change. Right. 250. Try that. Yeah, you saw a difference there, look. So you can change the perspective on that, right? That's one way of doing it. I wouldn't do that. I would use the perspective tool if you got that on it, which at the moment you haven't. You haven't got perspective tool. But there you go. If you got the perspective tool, I would do that. Now you've got the book, which is the shadow, which you can do, which is a good thing as well. You can add shadow, which is gives you the angle of the shadow, and you need to add your distance, say 10% or something like that. Right, and then you need to click on it, and there you go, the shadow. You can change the colour of the shadow, make it darker if you wish or something. And take the opacity off it so that it's fully opaque or nearly clear. You could do that. So, and then if you've got it like this, say you want it quite dark, but you still wanted to take some opacity off it, you could. So you go, click on that, click on opacity like that, or something. Or you could, if you didn't want to take off the opacity, you could blur it and do 10%. As you can see there, like that. You want to turn it round to a different area, you use this angle and change it round to where you want it to go, like that. It's alright, my thing's playing up a bit, my equipment, I'm afraid, so it keeps going off, so I'm struggling with that today. But as you can see, it does make the shadow in different ways, so you can see what's happening with that. Right, but that's what I'm going to show you about that. But I'm not going to show you track matte and blend mode because them are advanced techniques. But the anchor point is an important thing which you might need. As you can see, the anchor point's right in the middle, which means your rotation around that particular point. So if you do this corner here, it'll be rotated around there. So if I do that, rotates around there, and say the opposite, rotates around here. So you can do some weird things with that, using the keeping the anchor point in a particular place for you, like that. Right, so, and then we could change the anchor point to here, and it rotate around that particular point. So there you go. Put that back, and or to the side, so as you can see, rotate around that particular area, which is useful for when you're doing things like making a clock or something. You could use it, it'd be useful for that. Right, I will show you the tiles, what you can do with the tiles as well. Tiling is, if you make it active, it goes like that, but you can have to go to settings or something and try and, you've got a margin here, you can change the margin, so it just spreads them out a little bit, the margin spreads them out a little bit, and margin there, but obviously it's just making it completely tiled. You keep doing that forever, like that. See, completely tiled. So that might be useful if you're doing patterns or something like that. You can tile the background by doing that sort of thing. You might have to make them smaller though, or something, you know, if you wanted to do that. So scale them down like this. Whoa, just do that. See how many there is. Scale them down. Let's scale to 17%. Right, deactivate that and then bring that back to what it was. I don't know where it's gone, but never mind. I'll just put a new one on. It's the easiest way of doing that. Save messing about with that. Right, but that's how you do tiles. Just tile them. Make sure you got it small enough though, and then you can like that. Then try tiling or activating. That's pretty cool. So now you can mess about with that and use it for patterns on something like a mug or something. You know, or if you got stamps you want to just loads of them on, just tile it like that. I suppose do that. Right, it's just a simple switch to do it. Right, so that's the PNG shapes. Now what I'm going to show you is with the SVG shapes. Right, now that's get rid of that one. Now we'll get SVG shape like the AirPods are SVG shapes. As you can see, there's no colour tool here. You can't change the colours that way. What you have to do is go to the effects and components area and go to color replace. Right, there you go. Color replace, old color, click on that one. Right, new color, click on green. Right, so like that. There you go, it's changed straight away. You can add tolerance if you want. 50. Right, I don't know what that did. We could add saturation or whatever, or say tolerance 1, like that. Has that done anything? Nothing. Let's go up there, make it brighter actually. Doesn't make any difference, does it? The tone size doesn't seem to be working for me. Now, going to 100%, that's it. Nothing happening with that. Why is that not working? There you go, we've got tolerance up there. Let's try saturation. I don't know whether my keyboard's gone. My team keyboard might have gone. Let's try brightness. Ah, that's working. The brightness worked. Just tick that off to 0. There you go, saturation. Tolerance 10. That's it, it's alright. Started working now, so that's fine. But as you can see, what happens, you can delete this replacement, it goes back to the original, or add a colour to replace. So you go, that's the old colour, you just go click on that, that's it, right, and then you just change the colour to whichever colour you want, and then you add saturation or whatever you need to bring up the colour. Right, so bring it up a bit, brightness. Oh, you just done it then. But you click back on it, I believe. But that's how you do the colour replacement of any SVGs. There's quite a few of them actually on there, so be aware of that. I don't know about the 3D ones, I'm just going to check them, see what happens with that. Right, I'm just going to check that now. Let's go to the 3D images and we'll find them. It comes up in a minute. Just taking it's time to get to those. Just check them and see if we've got to do them the same. Probably. Get it to come up. Did have them up earlier, but I might check that out in a sec. go to that one. And we go on there. We're going to do colour replace on that. Colour replace. Right, so add colour to replace. Alt colour. Let's try that. There. Right. Okay. And change it to blue. Blue. Right. It's done it there, but it hasn't done it anywhere else. So you could change the colour, but you'd have to do add colour to replace again. Click on there, add that one, do that one, and then do another blue. So it'd be a bit over to blue, like that, and then you'd have to do the same here. You have to do it more than once. Add alt colour, that one. Right, and then replace with a different colour there. Oops, what happened there? Oh, I've done the wrong one, that's why. I've done that one, so change that to there. And that's just gone funny, so just have to this over a minute. There's another one here. Change that colour to there. Right, and change that colour to there. There you go. You'd have to change it 2 or 3 times for the 3D ones, as you could see there. So that's something to know about, is you'd have to change